What is up, YouTube community, fragrance family, and friends? I'm Tommy with Studio Scent. Welcome to another video review or video list today. I've got together some fragrances that typically either retail or discount are relatively expensive, and I picked some counterparts that are very similar that are much less expensive, aka cheap. So when we return, we're gonna go over the 6 relatively expensive designer fragrances and their much cheaper counterparts, that and more, so stay tuned. Welcome back, guys. So sitting before me, I have 6 scents and their much cheaper counterparts. You know, when you go out there and you find a fragrance that you like and you're like, I wonder if there's other fragrances that smell like this, or when you sample a fragrance and you really like it, but it's relatively expensive and you're wondering, is there a cheaper counterpart out there that's not an actual clone of this fragrance? Something that carries that same vibe but isn't exactly the same. Well, today I've got 6 of those for you. So let's go ahead and get started from the house of Bulgari. Bulgari Man Wood Neroli is a very woody, white floral, clean, refreshing fragrance. And of course, anything from the house of Bulgari is going to be really good quality. You've got bergamot, neroli, orange blossom absolute. There's also amber in here and a good bit of ambrox in it. And that's what makes this fragrance such a healthy, modern addition to your rotation. But even at discounters, this runs typically anywhere from 60 to 65 bucks. So what might be a decently inexpensive alternative to Bulgari Wood Neroli? Well, I've got 2 for you today. The very first one is from the house of Alfred Dunhill. It is Dunhill Icon. The very first in the Icon line of fragrances is probably the most popular, although it's not quite as clean of a neroli as Bulgari Wood Neroli, more like a dirty neroli. You would really have to like neroli as a note to enjoy Bulgari Wood Neroli, and it's similar with Icon because that's pretty much what you're getting. This also has bergamot, black pepper, cardamom, lavender. There's a little bit of leather there, and just a touch of oud to make it a little bit darker and richer. And that's what makes it just a bit more dirty than Bulgari Wood Neroli, but it's a very similar fragrance. However, if you're not keen on the dirty neroli and you want something a little bit lighter that's also less expensive, then I recommend a fragrance from Banana Republic from the Icon line of fragrances called Neroli Woods. Oddly enough, they just transposed the words of Bulgari Wood Neroli to Neroli Woods here. And pretty much that's what you're getting. You're getting more neroli with a little bit of woods. So if you desire something that's going to be a little bit of a flip-flop of that, but it's still very similar, this one is a lot more subtle, a lot more soft with the neroli note, then you'll enjoy this one. Primarily what you're getting is a trifecta of mandarin orange leaf, neroli, and amber, and this one runs right around 22 bucks at a rack store or 30 bucks at a discounter. It's the least expensive of the 3. Our next smell alike is from Paco Rabanne. It is the very popular Paco Rabanne 1 Million Parfum. Now this is the new 2020 release. This is a really good, masculine, youthful, sweet clubbing fragrance. It's got cashmere, it's got leather, it's got labdanum, good bit of ambroxan as well, but it runs right around 94 bucks. So what might be a good alternative that is as good as, in terms of quality, as Paco Rabanne's 1 Million Parfum? What I recommend, and you're actually not going down in quality, if anything, you're going up in quality, is a fragrance from the house of Givenchy. It is Givenchy Gentleman Only Absolute. Gentleman Only Absolute is very spicy. Some people say this is similar to Spice Bomb, but I actually think it's more similar to 1 Million Parfum than it is Spice Bomb. It is spicy, similar to 1 Million Parfum, but it doesn't have all of that sweetness in there. So if you're looking for something, and historically you've not been a huge fan of 1 Million Parfum or 1 Million because of the sweetness that's in it, that's, you know, Paco Rabanne so well known for, you would probably really enjoy this one. It does have some sweetness, it's just not quite as dense as 1 Million Parfum is, but it lasts as long. They're both, of course, eau de parfum concentration. You've got bergamot, cinnamon, saffron, nutmeg, sandalwood, and vanilla in Gentleman Only Absolute. It's just a really fantastic fragrance that's even a bit more refined than 1 Million Parfum is. 1 Million Parfum is going to run you anywhere from 90 to 100 bucks. This one will run you anywhere from 65 to 70. So you're going to save around 30 bucks. Pretty good price difference. And I think you're getting a little bit better product. Next up is a fragrance from Mont Blanc, which Mont Blanc doesn't really release a ton of fragrances that are super expensive. They're right around mid price. And we're talking about a relatively new release though. Came out in 2020. It is Mont Blanc Legend Eau de Parfum. The Eau de Parfum is a little bit nicer, a little bit more refined than the Eau de Toilette. This one has violet leaf, woody notes, magnolia, jasmine, a little bit of leather, and some oak moss in the base. It's a really nice, pleasant, light leather-based fragrance. But again, if you don't have that 50 or 55 bucks, what I recommend is a fragrance that actually smells really similar to Legend. It's from the house of Lavalier, which is known for releasing really good quality fragrances at a fraction of the cost of most. It is L'insoumis Ma Force. Ma Force smells so similar to Mont Blanc Legend. Not only the Eau de Toilette, but also the Eau de Parfum. In some ways, I actually prefer this better. Of course, I'm a big fan of green apple. This does have a green apple note in the top. It also has lemon, cardamom, lavender. It has that said violet leaf and also rosemary with that violet leaf. You've got cashmere wood and amber wood in the base. L'Insoumis Ma Force is substantially less expensive than Mont Blanc Legend Eau de Parfum is. There's a $20 difference between the two, and when you're budgeting for fragrance, that 20 bucks can mean an additional fragrance, potentially. Very well worth it. Smells just as good, in my estimation, as the Eau de Parfum. Our next scent is the most expensive in this list. It's from the house of Christian Dior. It is Dior Homme Intense. Dior Homme Intense came out in 2011. In the top, it features Florentine Iris Absolute. In the heart, it's got something called the Ecuadorian Ambrette seed, resting on a base of Virginian cedar. Just like the name implies, it's a really intense iris-based fragrance, and it's also very unique. It's also pretty expensive. Now, of course, this is the 50 ml bottle, but if you're gonna go for the 100 ml bottle, which I recommend, you're looking at right around $108, $110 for 3.4 ounces. What's something that's gonna be similar in quality that's gonna smell equally as good, at least in my opinion, from the house of Givenchy Gentleman. Now this is the Gentleman, not Gentlemen. This is the relatively newer release, Gentleman by Givenchy, and it's the Eau de Toilette version, not the Eau de Parfum. The Eau de Parfum is going to be black on the bottom, whereas this is clear. Just some differences between the two. However, this one is also very iris-centric. You've got pear, cardamom, iris, lavender, patchouli, leather, and a little bit of vanilla in the base as well. So it's got, not only does it have that iris note, it's got some other really nice accompanying notes that aren't just nuances, that also hold their own in this fragrance, even though that iris note is primarily what you get in this and in the entire Gentleman line. Actually, I enjoy this as equally as I do Dior Homme Intense. Even though Dior Homme Intense is a little bit more refined, a little bit more upscale, I enjoy, like, if you want something that you can wear on a casual basis that's not quite as upscale as Dior Homme Intense, Gentleman by Givenchy is your way to go. Again, Dior about 110. This one you can get anywhere from 50 to 60 bucks. So it's a pretty substantial savings, anywhere from $40 to $50. Our next scent that we have a similar scent of is from the house of Carolina Herrera, and we actually stay in the house of Carolina Herrera for the smell-alike. It is Bad Boy. Now, I don't know that this is appropriately named because, you know, Carolina Herrera's Privé is more of a bad boy fragrance than this is. This is just a really nice, sweet, peppery fragrance. That's primarily what you get, is a lot of pepper in this. You've got black and white pepper in the top along with Italian bergamot, cedarwood sage in the heart, tonka bean. It's a little powdery, it's a lot peppery, and it's a little bit sweet, or medium sweet, I would say. You could overspray this and it could be a little bit cloying, but what's a fragrance that's going to be similar to this? Now, Bad Boy, Carolina Herrera isn't known for being like super economical, but the prices aren't that bad. However, this guy still goes for, it's relatively new, so this still goes for about 100 bucks at discounters for a 100 ml bottle. And of course the bottle is kind of cool if you like lightning bolts, if you like flash, whatever. I do, I think it's cool. But what if you're wanting something that's comparable to this, but you don't want to pay that price? Again, staying within the house of Carolina Herrera, so you know the quality is really good, I recommend 212 VIP Black. 212 VIP Black is a very similar formula. You've got lavender, leather, vanilla, musk, and just a little bit of absinthe. So instead of being more peppery and powdery, it's that little bit of the boozy, the absinthe, that adds a little bit of bitterness, but then that sweetness kind of kicks in and evens it out. I like this equally as well as I do Bad Boy, almost a $30 difference in price. So with Bad Boy, around 100 bucks, this one is about 70, yeah, so about $30. And of course, I'm referring to the 100 ml bottle size. So Bad Boy, 212 VIP Black, very similar. Our last smell-alike fragrance is coming from the house of Kenzo. Kenzo Homme Eau de Parfum. I really enjoy this fragrance. It's one of those really nice, kind of lightly bubblegummy. There's some nostalgic factor in here for me in terms of that whole grape knee-high sensation, and it is a little bit sweet, but it's a very well-performing fragrance. Being an eau de parfum, I really enjoy it. Great spring and summer fragrance. This has cardamom, mint, cedar, musk, vetiver, some spices. What would be a fragrance out there that would be a little bit less expensive, actually a lot less expensive, but also very similar in terms of the body and the smell? Believe it or not, a really cheap fragrance from the House of Police called To Be Rebel. Really a funky bottle. So you get a bottle that's blue and it's all glass, and then you get a rubber lid that actually is the hair, that's the mohawk, and it pops off, and then you get your fragrance. Police To Be Rebel smells surprisingly like Kenzo Homme Eau de Parfum, and there's about a $20 difference. I think you can get Kenzo for around 42 bucks and change. This one, $19.95, so 20 bucks. Really good fragrance, and it lasts in terms of performance very similar to Kenzo Homme Eau de Parfum. Plus you get that little shrunken head with a silver grill and the red mohawk. Can't beat that. Well guys, that's it for my 6 smell-alikes, or fragrances that are very similar to their more expensive counterparts that are relatively inexpensive and more accessible. If you have some of these out there or have done some comparisons, let me know what your thoughts are on these. And if you think others belong in this list that are expensive and you found a counterpart that's really inexpensive, let me know that as well. Always want to find some really good deals or hidden gems at a great price. Thanks for stopping by and checking out today's video. And as always, thank you so much for your support on my channel. I'm Tommy with Studio Sense, and I'll see you tomorrow.